Hello! Wow! It's been over a year since we last did this. And I'm sorry to those who missed them. I don't know what happened. It's just a year went and it's just a year. But I want to make this video the first day of 2018. I'm making this video to say I am back. I'm gonna start making more videos because I enjoy them. I really do. So this is my first video back. But don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. That's an LL Cool J quote. Yeah. 2018, new me. LL Cool J quotes. I dropped them now. Alright, for this first video back, I want to talk about one of my favorite subjects, and that is sociology. Now, don't turn it off. Don't turn this video off just because you think sociology is boring or you don't know what it is. Alright? It's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. I'm totally biased because I majored in it, but it's awesome. Alright? And I think sociology can learn a lot about how the world works, about how people work, about how people work together in particular. And what this video is going to be about is the importance of diversifying your identity. Now that sounds really confusing and again kind of boring. So I'll try and make it interesting. Diversifying your identity is similar to diversifying your assets, like in financial stuff. I don't know finances at all, so I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but I assume that when they talk about diversifying your assets, they mean like switching stuff from stocks to bonds to real estate. I don't have a lot of financial assets to diversify, so I don't really know it, but it's similar to that. Diversifying your identity is similar to that. And I think the best way to show you this, to demonstrate this, is visually. And in particular, by showing you a game you may be very familiar with, and that is Jenga. How you play it, if you don't know, is you take turns trying to take out blocks. I'm not very good at this, but the point is you're not supposed to knock down the tower or take additional blocks out. That's the point of the game. Now for this visualization, for diversifying your identity, we're going to say that each of these blocks is an identity you associate with. So what that means is any identity that you feel strongly about, that you have some sort of connection to. So let's give some examples of that. All right, so let's say we have a guy named Steve, all right? Steve identifies as being a man. He identifies as being a son, a brother, a husband, father. He is let's say he's Jewish. He identifies as he's an engineer. He identifies with that. He is a racquetball player. He plays the guitar. He is a member of the PTA for his kid's school. He also volunteers at an animal shelter. And he likes to, let's say he really identifies also as being a cook. He's a good cook, all right? Now say something happens to Steve, like he gets a divorce, all right? What happens then? Now if I take one of these blocks out, they shouldn't all fall. Got the block. Now you see we took out one block of this tower, of the Steve Tower, and it didn't fall down. His one identity didn't make his entire life crumble. Now let's take another example. All right, so let's say we have a guy named Bill. Now I'm going to try and build this tower for Bill the same height as the one for Steve. So Bill identifies as being a man. He identifies as being a husband, and a father. He's not much of a, he doesn't really identify, he's not very close with his parents, not really close with his siblings, doesn't really identify with that. He also doesn't really identify with his job. He doesn't really like his job. He doesn't identify with it. He does identify as being, let's say he's atheist, and he really identifies with that. Let's say that. He identifies as being a artist. He likes to paint. And he also likes to go to the gym. He is a member of the yoga club. Just really pulling stuff together for Bill. And he likes to go to the dog park. He's a dog owner. He identifies with being a dog owner. Let's say that, right? Now, as you can tell, Bill doesn't associate with as many identities as Steve did. So let's say, again, we say Bill got a divorce. What happens to his tower? Now let's just, any of these old blocks, all right? They fall. All right, so we just played a game of Jenga with our new friends Bill and Steve. What the heck? What does that mean? Why did we just do that? Well, let me tell you. Each block, as I said before, represents a identity each man associated with. And then the towers, which were made of the blocks, represented their lives. And when we took a block out of Steve's, his tower had many more blocks, and when we took one block out, his tower remained standing. However, with Bill, who had fewer blocks, fewer identities, his tower fell over. Now, this is kind of an oversimplified way of explaining the importance of having a wide array of identities you associate with, diversifying your identities. When something happens, so say again, a relationship doesn't work out, or you lose your job, or you realize that you don't like a certain hobby, or you're not very good at a certain hobby. Part of that is taken away from your self, your view of yourself. And for people who don't have many identities that they associate with, that can be a heartbreaking, devastating occurrence. That's why you see when someone loses their job or someone breaks up with someone, they can become depressed or angry or even violent to either themselves or to others. And ultimately, I would say a pretty good reason for this is because they put so much of themselves, which I'm not saying that you shouldn't invest yourself in your job or your relationship or your activities, your hobbies, but they put so much of that, and they didn't have other stuff, other identities, that they lost who they were. They didn't have any sort of sense of who they were, because identity, that's the importance of having some sort of identity, is it kind of grips you to reality, it grips you to the world. It's how you make sense of how you interact with others, of how you interact with the world. And so when you lose your identity, when you lose yourself, you get really confused, and then that can spawn anger and depression and violence. And that's why we see a lot of all those things when someone loses that identity. And so, as I said at the beginning of this video, I wanted to really emphasize the importance of diversifying your identities, having multiple identities that you associate with that said, not just, you really have to associate with them. You really have to have you can't just be a member of a group and not care about it, you really have to associate with it. And I think that if you do that, you are really setting yourself up for a more fulfilling life. So that's what I hope that you took out of this Jenga session. But yeah, no, I think diversifying your identity, I'm not the first person to say it. I won't be the last person to say it. I heard it a lot of times in a lot of different of my classes. And I think it's just a really important thing that a lot of people should know. So that's that. That's me explaining some sort of life concept via Jenga, a good old childhood game. Next week, we're going to go Yahtzee. Just kidding, I don't know what I'm gonna say next week, or if I'm even gonna do a video next week, or if Yahtzee will be involved in the possible video next week. But I do appreciate you guys watching this week, and I hope to be making a video again. I hope to be making them more frequently. So thanks again for watching, and have a wonderful 2018's first day. I hope it's great for you, and I will talk to you later.